Not very good, is it? Welcome back to Project Daily Drive, and what the hell has happened to my engine? Well, there's quite a few issues actually with the engine that I need to get sorted, and that's what I'm doing in today's video, as well as another video. There's three big issues with my engine. I've got a problem with the ignition, I've got a problem with the carburetor, which is to do with the fuel side, and the engine runs really hot constantly. I've known about the running hot thing ever since I've had the car. It's always run a bit on the warm side, which is something I do need to get a look at. I've got a brand new radiator and it hasn't solved the issue, so what's going on there? The carburetor, I've got a spare for rebuild. That's going to be a later video, so I'm not going to talk about that. What has happened to my ignition system? Well, it went really bad, and I replaced the condenser, and that's fixed it for a little bit, and then it's bad again. And I know what the problem is, vaguely. It's one of these. The coil, which generates the spark, has failed. And I've also got a rather worn distributor. So a very nice bloke has actually sold me a brand new refurbished distributor. I'm not going to fit this in today's episode because I don't know how. But I'm going to fit it. I'll talk about that later. So yeah, I need to get my car running. Let's get started and see what needs doing, shall we? Hello. To understand what I need to do with my engine, you have to understand how the ignition system works. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get a camera in here because my camera is rather big. So I'm going to see if I can show you to the best of my ability. Let's get the elephant's trunk out of the way. This is the air intake for the heater, and it's split everywhere. So this is the problem right here. This is the coil. Now the coil generates the spark to allow the spark plugs to work, essentially. The coil here is connected to something down here. I don't know if you can see that on camera. No, you can't. I'll get a close-up of it, which is the distributor. The way an ignition system works is that you have 4 spark plugs, because it's a 4-cylinder engine, and you have to distribute the spark. The distributor spins around and distributes the spark that comes from the coil into the spark plugs, and that's what runs the engine. If the distributor's out of whack, it's not going to run properly. If the coil's out of whack, it's not going to run properly. And one of my cylinders has not woken up for a while, so I'm running on 3. I came to a car show on Sunday, as it happens, and at least 6 people came over to me telling me, "You're running on 3 cylinders, you know." I know. I'm very sorry. I'm going to replace the coil. Brand new HT leads, because mine are rather worn out, and I have a brand new distributor, but what I'm going to pinch from that is the cap and rotor arm. I'm going to fit it properly later, but for now this is just a stopgap because I've never changed a distributor before and I've no idea what I'm doing. I don't have any idea what I'm doing normally, but at least this one's nice and simple. To remove the coil from the engine, there are 2 bolts. Now, because I've upgraded to an alternator, there is a bracket that allows the coil to sit on top of the alternator. And the 2 bolts are particularly fiddly, that's why I've sped this up. Alright, let's get this thing out. Is my microphone turned on? Yes, let's get this thing out then. I am a professional. Okay. I'm being really careful with the leads because the wiring loom of my car is particularly fragile and corroded. And there we go. There we go. There's the problem. There used to be this kind of joke saying, I've seen it around the place, saying it's never the coil, because coils on old cars are really reliable. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work, and this is my old coil. It's hard to see on video, but if I run my finger, it's got oil all over it, and there's nowhere for the oil to come. It's come from the coil. In fact, it should be full of oil, and it's not really doing much. There is a microscopic oil leak coming out of this coil somewhere, and that's probably what's caused the issue with getting too warm and, well, dying. I'm going to clean it up, only just so I know which side, because it doesn't have a plus or a minus. That's annoying. I need to figure this one out. And then I can fit the new coil. What the hell? I don't think I can show that, but there is... No wonder I'm not getting a spark. It's just pure rust in there. I don't know if I can show that. That is just pure rust. It's shot. Oh dear. I am so sorry, Gene. While I'm replacing the coil and the distributor cap and the rotor arm, I'm also replacing the HT leads, and there's a damn good reason for this. This is the old HT lead from the coil to the distributor. The distributor end it looks pretty good actually. It doesn't look all that old. It probably wasn't replaced all that long ago. The coil end is very heavily corroded. Very heavily corroded. That is not acceptable, and that's why these are going in the bin. I got the old coil out, well, like you saw, and I was going to fit the new one, but the actual bracket on the new coil didn't fit, so I've taken the bracket off the old coil, which I know does fit, and I'm just going to attach it. Because this isn't a Lucas coil, the actual strap is a little bit larger, so I'm just going to have to tediously tighten this down until it fits. Hooray. So I've put the old bracket on. There's the bolts. You may notice that I've got an alternator. I converted this and they gave me a nice new kit so I can mount the coil in the original position. It's also got the worst bolt hole location right in there where it's bloody hard to get to. So let's speed this up, shall we? No, bugger. Hello again. Since the last clip and this one, several hours have passed and I am not happy about it. Firstly, I went and fitted the coil and did the wiring, and then found out the camera wasn't working because it had died, and I hadn't noticed. So then I had to look for the charger, which, because I've only just moved here, is in one of the million boxes of my stuff, and I don't know where, because it wasn't packed by me, it was packed by somebody else, who doesn't remember which box it was put in. Hooray! And then I had to take my cat to the vet because he's got an abscess, he's been in a fight. Don't worry, he's fine, he's got some medication, and he's eating, so... I'm back on my mini camera because I can't change my big camera, so apologies for the audio drop. But let's have a look at what I've actually done now. Okay, so I've got my coil right here, which I still need to tighten up because it's ever so slightly loose. I've connected the cables. I don't know which one's positive and negative because the cables have been changed around so much and repaired so many times that they are identical. Oh dear. I've also put in the brand new HT lead here at the back and connected it to the old distributor. I haven't done anything else because essentially, if this works fine, then I can carry on with everything else. I don't want to get halfway through doing it to realise that I've made a mistake further back. Question is, does it run? I know the answer to this because I've already tested it. But I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to figure that one out. No! That's a joke. She starts and still sounds horrible. However, I can put my foot down now and it doesn't threaten stalling. That's a good thing. I've only got a tiny bit of fuel in though. So let's get to the rest of it, shall we? Somebody once asked me, "Hey Friar, how on earth do you manage to injure yourself every single time you work in the engine bay of your car? There's so much space." I've cut my fingers 3 times. This thing's getting mauled, and it still won't bloody sit right. Now that I've got the coil nice and securely mounted on top of the alternator where it belongs, I can take a look at the distributor. The first thing that I need to do is take the distributor rotor arm out, because I want to show you just how rough that looks. That's a wasp, please don't sting me. Right. Let's take this thing off. It's a clip, another clip down here, and the cap should just pop off like that. Fantastic. And the rotor arm should just pull out. There we go. I've come inside so I can show you this. So this is the rotor arm from my car. This is the one from my distributor. And if you ever look at it up close, you can see it's a piece of metal and a piece of plastic. There's a little arrow right there. And essentially what this does is it spins around like that inside the distributor, and there's points that it goes against to create the spark. So it points to 1, which fires cylinder 1, and then points to 2, which fires cylinder 2, that sort of thing. And it gets the electricity through contact on top there. This looks really, really bad, doesn't it? And then you compare it to a brand new rotor arm. You can even see how much the metal has worn off over the years. This is really bad, this is really rough. And that's the contact surface compared to a new one. So as you can see, it's pretty rough, and that's probably part of why the thing isn't running so sweet. So I've got the rotor arm out of the new distributor along with the cap, which will fit on my current distributor, and I'm going to fit those along with the new leads. Hopefully I'll get a much more reliable spark. Here's the leads, and if you notice, it's not going to be a simple option of just take one lead, put one back on. They're all different lengths depending on where the cylinder is. They've got shorter cables for the pistons that are closest to the cylinder. Really, they go 4, 3, 2, 1, if you think of 1 as the cylinder closest to the front and 4 at the back. So while my cat decides to really slowly come through the cat flap, I need to measure up and make sure that I know which cable is where, because I don't want to look at a wiring diagram. Nobody wants to look at a wiring diagram. I want to get my car running. So let's see if I can match these up to the correct cylinder. Let's do one of these. Let's do a time lapse of me replacing the leads. And yes, that's the old cap in there, because I'm too lazy to look up a wiring diagram and I want to get my car running, so let's get to it. I have suddenly decided I should probably get a wiring diagram because the wires are different lengths, but my wires on my car don't match. Whoops. Alright, I got the cables sort of sorted. I'm now just transferring them to the new cap, and because I'm lazy, I'm just putting them in the same spots that they were previously, because I'm known for the amount of effort that I put into anything ever. The problem is that these new cables are particularly stiff. There we go. Right. And they don't want to stay in. Now let's put the new cat, the new arm, in the new cap. Please work. I'll be very sad if this car doesn't start. It'd be great if I didn't drop the arm. Right. Okay. With that sorted, let's see if she'll start. I have my hooks and I have my darts. I think I did it! Well, I'm warming the car up now. That's my reverse gear because I'm a numpty and just decided to destroy my gearbox. Let's see how it feels on the road. Right. One of the big issues I had is sitting in third at 20, and I can do it. It's a little bit bouncy, but it's not bouncy in the way of the way it was before, where it was about to die. It was more you need to change up, that's much better. Let's go around the estate. All those people telling me that Project Daily Driving, it's taken 4 episodes for me to drive the flipping car. I see you down there. But I'm in third now, doing about 20. It's running fine. It's if I tried to put my foot down straight away, it accelerates. Well, that's one of the main issues with the engine, no longer a problem. It's running like a dream. It sounds alright. I've got a few bit of coughs and stutters, but those are more to do with the carburettor. The problems that I was having, it runs fine. I'm just going to take it up on the main road at 30, just to see how it handles that, because that's where I've been having my issues, coming out of junctions and stuff. Before the issues started, I could get in 4th around this estate, no problem. I'm in 4th. It's not running lumpy. If I was doing this before in 4th, oh, it wouldn't have been having any of it. It would have immediately threatened to die. So this is great. I'm just cruising. Right, let's go out onto this junction, which is an awful junction, but oh well. I didn't want to go over speed bumps. Let's see. Sounds good. Oh, brilliant. I think I've got it, I've sorted out the ignition. Well, pretty much replaced it also. I'd be a bit worried if it wasn't working. Oh, cracking. I can put the choke in a bit. And it runs. I'm just trying to listen out for any funny things, stuttering and coughing. One of the main issues was when I would have to slow down because of somebody, like I'm having to do now, because somebody just immediately pulled in, and the engine would threaten to die. And no, I got no issues. It's a shame my dash cam's not on, but that way you can't see all the taxi drivers trying to pull out on me. You know what? The car feels fantastic. Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. If I'm in third trying to accelerate at this speed, it would have immediately died. I'm in third. Yeah, I'm riding the clutch a little bit, but if I'd have tried this before, it would have immediately cut out and died. Let's go to second so we can get over these awful speed bumps. Fantastic! And I can sit in third now. The real test would be driving this out on the main road for a longer period of time when the engine's fully up to temperature, because that's where all the really bad problems started. That's where the cutting out happened. But it's running way better. Still not right, but that's more to do with the carburetor. That's something I'm going to handle later on, so I'm happy with it. She runs! Fantastic. Success. Well, she's running once again. Thank God. I haven't yet tested the car out properly in traffic, you know, up to temperature. So it'll be a trial by fire this coming weekend because I'm doing quite a substantial amount of driving. But it runs so much better. Good old Jean here, she's running, well, like she used to. Still running a bit rich. I've got to work on the carburetor, but I actually have a spare carburetor, and I'm looking forward to rebuilding that because I'm going to make that a special video. But right now, I have a car that's not going to cut out of me in traffic, please, and upset everyone behind me. So what's next? Well, I'm going to work on the carburetor, but I'm not going to do that just yet because that's going to be a winter project when the car's properly off the road undercover. I'm just going to suffer with terrible fuel economy for a little bit longer. I want to tidy up the wiring in the engine bay because I fitted a alternator and the wires. I'm not very happy with how the HT leads are, so a bit of neatening up there. And just as I was reversing out of my driveway, I've been driving for nearly 2 years and I hit the gate. My paint, I put a dent in the paint, so we'll be doing some work to improve the paint job because that's the only scuff on my car. Paint's usually pretty alright. And I've got something else. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing next episode, but I know what it's going to be, and it's going to be a much more light episode. No more grimy engine bay and sliced up fingers. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more content like this, you want to see me working on this good old car, then have you ever thought about subscribing? I've also got other stuff that I do on this channel, so I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.